Hi, I'm Scoot, and welcome to the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. One of the things that I want to do with this YouTube channel is do a continuing series, The Truth Behind the Microphone. Some of it is about radio and a lot of the misconceptions about talk radio and talk radio hosts and radio in general. And then once a week, I'm going to tell a Scoot story, something about my career. I mean, I have this great career that's gone on for 50 years, and it's better than ever now. So I'm very blessed to still be doing what I'm doing 50 years later. But, there are things that come up in my life and some interesting stories that I have been able to tell. Some of them I've been able to tell on the air. Some of them I don't tell on the air. Some of them I don't go into great detail on the air. So this YouTube channel will be about a number of different things. But one of the things that it will be about is telling this series or continuing the series, The Truth Behind the Microphone. So I don't know why, but from very early in my career, even to this day, 50 freaking years later, there are people who think I'm gay. And why? I don't know. Could it be because I had a tendency professionally to do things with a DJ, a crazy FM DJ in the early years of FM here in New Orleans named Captain Humble? Captain Humble and I did things together. He was on my show, I was on his show. Look, here's the truth behind this. Captain Humble was well known. I was just starting out. I was put on FM in the morning because nobody was listening in the morning. So honestly, I figured, well, Captain Humble can help me get publicity, can help me gain credibility in the market. And so we did things together. He was on my show, I was on his show. But we never did a show together. And there are people who to this day think, oh man, I love it when you and Cap were on the air, when you and Cap did a show together. We were on the air with each other, but we didn't do a show together. We made appearances together. I told you the truth behind the Miss Wet t-shirt contest. Captain Humble was on stage there. So professionally, we did things together. Captain Humble was gay. So what, does that make me gay? Of course not. Now, I did a dance show back in the 80s called Airwaves. In fact, if you Google Scoot Airwaves, I don't know that the music is there because of copyright reasons, but you can find, I think, the remnants of Airwaves, the pilot episode, which was, you know what? It was a blast, and I thought it was a good show. Anyway, because I have light eyes and light hair, so I wouldn't have to do makeup all the time, I had my eyelashes dyed. And that's a common thing for people on television to do. Well, maybe that information got out to Walton and Johnson, a competing morning show team here in New Orleans. And they used that and other things to make fun of me on the air. And they made fun of me by saying that I was gay and by talking about all these things about how I'm gay. So I guess that resonated with a lot of people. But somebody saying you're gay doesn't make you gay. In fact, I'll tell you the great irony about that story. Walton and Johnson broke up. They got back together, but they broke up. And let me just end it. So Walton and Johnson break up. And Steve Johnson is doing the afternoon show with a guy named Gary Spears on B97 FM in the mid-90s. Howard Stern was on in the morning. I was on after Howard, and Steve and Gary were on after me. So Steve Johnson's doing the show with this guy, Gary Spears. Well, they pick up the Walton and Johnson trend of making fun of me, saying I'm gay. Anything that they could do to make it seem like I was gay, they would do that. It was a way of putting me down. And you know what? Let me say this first of all. If I were gay, you would know it. I am so honest on the air. I'm so rebellious that if I were gay, what makes you think you wouldn't know? I mean, I've been honest about Wolfman Jack taking all of my cocaine backstage at the Stones concert in the Dome. I've been honest about embarrassing things that have happened in my career. So what makes you think I wouldn't tell you? I'm proud of who I am. If I were gay, I would be proud of who I am. And you would know it. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay. This is not about, I want to make sure that you don't think I'm gay because being gay is bad. That's not what this is about. It's about the truth. It's also about why people are so quick to label people gay. All right, so I do this dance show, and maybe I wore leg warmers. Hey, it was the mid-'80s. Come on. Maybe I wore leg warmers once in a while. My eyelashes were tinted. Does that make me gay? No, of course not. Now, I did have a gay character on my show. When I was doing a morning show on FM, personality-driven morning show, I had characters, and I did character voices. Alfredo Fettuccini was the Italian chef. Pierre Gaussin was a French guy. I really forgot what the hell he did, but I remembered his name. And then there was Sid Showcase. Sid Showcase was a gay character. Sid was the entertainment reporter. So when I was on the air, whenever, and I did the voice for Sid, whenever Sid was going to appear on the show, there was a knock. The audience heard this knock, and I said, oh, there's a knock from inside the closet door. Sid Showcase wants to come out of the closet. So I literally had the sound effect of a door opening, and Sid Showcase came out. I don't even know if I can still do this voice anymore, but hi ho, it's me, Sid Showcase. It's nice to see you, Scoot. And then I would talk back to Scoot. How you doing, Sid? I'm just doing fine, Scoot. And listen, I'm here to tell you about, again, I don't do it as good as I did it, but Sid would talk about things like, the new, Scoot, I want to tell you about the new gay soap opera, Gays of Our Lives. And then there's a new sitcom, Happy Gays. Oh, and the other new gay sitcom is One Gay at a Time. So that's the kind of stuff that Sid Showcase would do. Doing a gay character, does that make me gay? I don't think so. Now, when Jazzercise was really big, and this would have been in early 80s probably, yeah, about 82, 83, Jazzercise was huge. There was this big Jazzercise event in the Superdome, and it was designed to be the largest, in fact, at the time, it was the largest Jazzercise event ever. We had all these listeners. I mean, people just covered the floor of the Superdome. We did Jazzercise. Well, I helped lead it as Sid Showcase, my gay character. Does that make me gay? Of course not. I mean, think about all the gay drag characters that we saw on television. Think about all the guys, all the men, the male actors that were gay. I mean, no, gay. They weren't gay. They would dress up. Nobody thought they were gay. So I just find it interesting that even to this day, there are people who still think I need to come out of the closet. I've always told you this about me, and if you listen to my radio show on WWL in New Orleans, you know this about me. I am damn honest. I'm honest. I'm honest with who I am. I'm honest with what I've done in my life. And if I were gay, I would be honest about that. I couldn't be on the air without being honest. It's too insincere. And there's a lot of bullshit on radio. And that's also part of the truth behind the microphone. A lot of people are phony. And so here is Steve Johnson doing this show with Gary Spears in the afternoon on B97, and they make fun of me for being gay. Steve Johnson leaves, and I think he and John Walter got back together at that point. So Gary Spears is doing the afternoon show alone to try to endear himself to the audience. This DJ, Gary Spears, his radio personality, Gary Spears, he came out of the closet on the air. I always knew he was gay. And here he is on the air making fun of me for being gay. Never said anything. I'd never outed him. He outed himself to try to endear himself to it. Guess what? The audience thought that was just such a freaking joke, that here's this guy making fun of me, saying that I'm gay, and it turns out that he's gay, and then he wants to like be honest with the audience and go, well, I'm gay, I hope you accept. It was bullshit. But that is the insincerity that lives in so many people on the radio. Trust me on this. Try to find the talk show host, try to find the personalities on radio and on television that give you little indications that they're really honest. Now, I'm not a big person. I'm like 5'7", weigh 135 pounds. And because of the way I dress, I like to think that in some ways, maybe I'm fashionable some of the time. People look at me like I'm an alien here, like I'm gay. Well, I'm gay because God built me this way. I'm 5'7", 135 pounds. I wear skinny jeans. That makes me gay? No, I don't think so. The only thing that makes you gay is being attracted to a man physically and sexually. And I'm not. I was once in the back seat. Well, this is not going to sound good. I was once in the back seat of Richard Simmons' Mercedes-Benz. Look, I'd gone to Los Angeles, and I had done some announcing for Richard Simmons when he had his TV show. And so when I went to LA, Richard said, call me. So I called him. So Richard and his boyfriend met me for sushi. And, I made some comment about sushi, and he said, I hope you're not going to make these heterosexual jokes all night. So anyway, that's not really the funny part. So at one point, I'm in the back seat, and Richard and his boyfriend were in the front seat. We're on Sunset Boulevard. And Richard Simmons looks in the rearview mirror, and he says, Scoot, have you ever been to bed with a man? And I said, no. And he said something like, well, if you ever did, you'd probably never go back to women. I said, well, I wouldn't be so sure about that. So anyway, nothing ever happened. But, there were some things that I did professionally that I did with Richard Simmons. And he was a great guy. And I'm so sorry that he's kind of missing in action, because he's just a great guy. And I think he's struggling today. Maybe with depression. I don't know. I can't tell. The last time I saw him, which was, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years ago in New Orleans, he was part of an event here. And he wasn't quite the same. His enthusiasm wasn't sincere. So, I hope the best for you, Richard. I hope things work out okay for you. So, is that a reason to think I'm gay? No, I don't think so. So, here's something that changed my life in the mid-'80s. I was taught to be macho. Because that was my dad's generation, and people around me were, macho. That was the way to be tough, be macho. It never worked for me. I was never comfortable being macho. I read these two books, He and She, by psychologist Robert A. Johnson. These are understanding masculine psychology, understanding feminine psychology. These two books point out that everybody has a masculine and a feminine side. I realized I had a feminine side, but I wasn't gay. A lot of guys who are super macho guys, a lot of guys who are overly macho, are insecure with being in touch with their feminine side, so they cover it up by being overly macho. The truth is, I love to buy shoes. I like to decorate, but I'm not gay. Being gay or being a lesbian comes down to physical sex, nothing else. And so, I kind of laugh at it when people tell me to come out of the closet. When Anderson Cooper came out of the closet, I remember getting text that day. Okay, Scoot, now it's your turn. And when anybody comes out of the closet, I'll get text from people or call, okay, Scoot, now it's your turn. Believe me, I'm going to use this from Seinfeld. I can't come out of the closet because I've never been in the closet. But it goes to show you that people are so quick to stereotype. And when most people say, okay, you're gay, or they're talking about Scoot being gay, they're trying to put me down. But there shouldn't be anything wrong with being gay. If you're gay, you're gay. And I am totally accepting of the LGBTQ community. Maybe that's why some people think I'm gay. So what? I support a community. I support equal rights for blacks. I'm not black. I support equal rights for Muslims. I'm not Muslim. So it's really an interesting study in human nature to see how people act. I remember one time I was in, and I've told you this because I'm honest about this as well. You know, years ago, my wife and I, when disco first started, my wife and I used to go to the gay bars in the French Quarter because they had the best disco music. They had the newest stuff. They had the stuff that wasn't even played on the radio yet. Really good stuff like Silver Convention and like early Donna Summer, like Love to Love You Baby. Doesn't sound like a disco song, but it was an early disco song. So the gay bars were the best place to go dancing. Man, we would go, our married friends would go with us. We didn't think anything of that. So I still go to gay bars because it's fun. And to be honest with you, I get stranger looks from people sometimes in a straight bar than at a gay bar. And gays know I'm not gay because it's about body language. It's about eye contact. You know, I mean, if you're a woman, you can tell when a guy's trying to hit on you. It's little subtle things that he does. You can tell he's scoping you out. Well, since I'm not gay, I don't do that. I mean, once in a while, somebody comes up to me and they go, like, okay, there was one time, Sunday afternoon is a big time to go to the Bourbon Pub in the French Quarter of New Orleans. They play the greatest videos Sunday afternoons. Of course, now because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they're closed. But Sunday afternoon, man, that was the greatest place to go. I used to go a long time ago, and I still occasionally go today. So this guy comes up to me and he goes, "You're Scoot, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, I am." He says, "Are you gay?" And I said, "No, I'm not." He says, "Well, could you be gay for just a little while?" And I said, "No, I really couldn't be gay for just a little while." So I just, I took that as a compliment and, moved on, and it wasn't a big deal. I have always felt badly for people who feel like they can't be who they really are. And I think another reason that I relate to gays is because I grew up with a very severe case of obsessive compulsive disorder. It was bad. And when I was young, doctors didn't know about that. I thought I was the only person in the world that had a brain that worked the way my brain worked. I felt very isolated. I was very shy. And I felt like nobody understood me. I went through life and I felt like nobody really got me. Nobody understood me. And so over the years, when you hear about gays coming out of the closet and they feel like, they went through life and they felt like nobody understood them. Boom, I relate to that immediately. And so for a different reason, I felt like nobody understood me. Growing up, the deepest, most intrinsic being that I am, I felt like nobody understood. My parents didn't understand, nobody understood. I remember when I told my son Sean that I had OCD. He goes, "Well, Dad, I always knew something was wrong with you." And it's true. I mean, there was some obvious, thing. It was bad. But anyway, I'll talk about that on another Truth Behind the Microphone. But on this episode of the Truth Behind the Microphone here on the Scoot and the YouTube channel, I just wanted to share some of this with you because it's kind of funny and it's amazing to me that to this day, there are people who still think I'm gay. And I have never done anything to make anybody think that I'm gay. I mean, I wore the leg warmers. I had my eyelashes tinted. I had a gay character, but those things don't make you gay. If you're gay, you know you're gay. I'm straight. I knew I was straight at a very early age. I remember in kindergarten, yes, kindergarten, the teacher, Miss Linda, squatted down to tie my shoe, and I saw her pink panties, and that did something to me. I didn't know what it was doing to me. I didn't know what to do. I didn't do anything, obviously, but that moment meant something to me. I was in kindergarten. So I was born heterosexual. I didn't choose to be heterosexual. And I truly believe, and there might be a few exceptions here and there, but I truly believe that people who are gay were born that way. And that's why there should be total equality for gays and lesbians. Thank you for being with me tonight. This was fun. I'll be back on my YouTube channel here Monday night, then again Wednesday night with another Truth Behind the Microphone Wednesday night, and then next Saturday with another episode of The Truth Behind the Microphone. Please become a subscriber if you haven't done it. It's free. And please tell your friends we're building this. And, at some point we might actually have a set. We might actually have sponsors. So anyway, become a subscriber. We'll give you an alert every time we do something. And I appreciate you being with me here on the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel.